Hello students, I welcome you all to my channel Economics is Interesting Again. Today we are going to see another topic from unit number 1, that is hindrances to economic development. So let me tell you what do you mean by hindrances here. Hindrances means what all the things that stops the process of economic development to go on smoothly in any country. Let it be a developing nation or a developed nation. So we are going to see what are the hindrances which are commonly being observed here, irrespective of developed or a developing economy here. So let's get started without wasting much time. Before moving ahead to the explanation of hindrances to economic development, I would like to remind the students that if they have not understood the concept of economic development, they can go back to my channel. I have separately prepared a video on economic development concept. Have an understanding of that economic development concept and then come and view this video for a better understanding. So let's get started. The very first factor that stands like an obstacle in the process of economic development is lack of natural resources. Natural resources, let me tell you, it means those resources which are actually gifted to human mankind by the Almighty. That is gift of God to the human mankind. But the only thing is that we should know how to utilize it efficiently, because effective and efficient use of these resources can give us good amount of profitability when it comes to agriculture. You can also use these natural resources by selling the costly woods which comes in the form of teak wood, sandalwood, oak wood, to other countries in the form of exports, and you can earn foreign exchange or foreign income within the country. Let us see what are the lacking points when it comes to natural resources. A country's economic growth will be limited if it is running out of resources, including fertile land. Developing countries are too populous. As such, serious shortage of land is a common phenomenon, which leads to many damaging effects. Now, when it comes to population sector or population area of our country, then we have to agree on a point that since we don't have enough amount of area where we can construct houses, now there will be days coming in future that the places which we actually left empty for doing some agricultural activity had to be utilized for constructing houses, because the way the population is increasing in our country, all the areas which were kept empty for using it them for agriculture purposes had to be used in the later stage for the purpose of constructing houses. That means that can be taken for the purpose of real estate. So that is how the natural resources are lacking in future, and even today they are lacking because of the increasing population. This is being made worse with low level of technology acquisition. See, when it is having a kind of blessing from God, that is in the form of natural resources, then we should actually try to make it more extensive, try to keep it more perfectly. Because if there is no technology, if there is low amount of technology or no technology existing, then it doesn't give you the fruitful results sometimes. When it comes to agriculture, most of the farmers, Indian farmers, are dependent on monsoon rainfall for the better crop growing. Now, if there is no amount of rainfall or if there is not a proper amount of rainfall that is being observed in any rainy season in India, then they have to depend on artificial methods of supplying water to the field, to which we call irrigation. Now, when we actually come to the irrigation part, here most of farmers cannot afford the expense of irrigation. This lacks here in the form of natural resources. Thus, natural resources could be one of the most dominant factors in pursuing growth and development. Since we have been studying about what is the role of agriculture sector or primary sector in the development of a nation, especially India. So when it comes to natural resources, the existence and the availability of natural resources plays a very vital role in the contribution of GDP of the nation. Hope this lack of natural resources point is pretty much clear to you all. The second hindrance or obstacle that is observed in the process of economic development is lower growth of human capital. Now we have studied in our commerce. What do you mean by capital? It is nothing but the amount what you actually invest to start the business. Now when you come to economics, here the topic what we are going to study here is human capital. Now when you come to the meaning of human capital, it means utilizing the available human resources in such a way that when you use those human who are having skill, talent and ability, knowledge in such a way that they become a contributing factor for the development of the nation. That means when you use the services of the people who are having skill, knowledge, talent and ability, then the process of economic development becomes easier. Now, when you actually see the progress of developed nations, now you come across that there are many people who are educated there, and if they are not educated, they are having skill within themselves. So either the way, if you are not educated, then you should have skill to perform the task. So let us see what is given here. Human capital is an intangible asset, obviously, because the efforts of an individual or the services what an individual is contributing cannot be observed or cannot be seen, which includes assets like education, health, skills, training, intelligence, etc. The concept of human capital recognizes that not all labor is equal. Yeah, this is very important thing. In the concept of human capital, all the laborers are not treated as equal because the laborers who are unskilled are not taken into consideration here because they don't contribute for the development of the nation much. It is only the skill, talent, and knowledgeable persons only contribute in a major proportion for the development of the nation. So that's why it is given there. Not all labor is equal. Developing countries have low allocation of budget on education and health sector. It is important because some level of human knowledge and skill are necessary for an organization to accomplish anything. Now, when you come to developing countries, they actually give very low amount of budget for developing the areas of education and also health sector. Now, when it comes to India, there have been many programs which are started by the government, like universal primary education, compulsory education to the students of school, the children till the age of 14 years. And one more thing with the schemes like midday meal scheme, which is attracting students to come and join the school and gain the education. One more uh, program or any scheme that is being started by the government like Padega India Tabhi to Badega India. So such kind of initiatives is taken in India. It is slowly growing. But when you actually see back, if you see after independence, there was not a considerable amount of budget that is being fixed in order to develop education and health sector. That's the reason why India is moving on the path of development slowly, because they have started focusing on service sector now. The percentage of focus on agriculture was previously 70 to 75%, that is more than 70%. Now that has been decreased to 49%, and now the booming sector on which India is focusing is service sector, and that comprises of education. So that's how lower level of human capital growth is being observed when it comes to obstacles to economic development. The third factor which stands like an obstacle in the process of economic development is infrastructure. When you come to the topic of infrastructure, it comprises of roadways, railways, power, transport, communication, etc. All these things are essential for the process of growth and also for the process of development. Now, what are the lacking areas because of which it becomes an obstacle in economic development process? Let us see here. The root cause for the poor state of Indian infrastructure is due to low spend on this in India, because there is low amount of budget, low amount of money which is being sanctioned in order to develop infrastructure facilities within the nation. Nothing much has been done to improve the telecommunication and transportation, which are key services to attract foreign investment. Hope the point is pretty much clear to you all. The reasons like corruption, inefficiency of labor force, absence of incentives, poor accountability, and less political concern are the causes for lack of infrastructure. Now, there are certain reasons because of which these infrastructure is lacking in India, and the reasons have been stated just now. If they want to improve or come out of this lacking area or lacking factor of infrastructure, then they should actually make a very responsible attempt. They should make a very strong attempt so that all these loopholes should be stopped, loopholes should be covered, and a beautiful platform should be laid in order to develop the infrastructure facilities, which plays a very important role when it comes to development of any nation. Now, the fourth and the last reason or last obstacle that comes in the way of economic development is vicious circle of poverty. Vicious here in a sense a dangerous circle of poverty. Now, you know what do you mean by poverty here? When certain section of people in the society unable to meet the basic amenities or basic needs of life, that is food, clothing and shelter, you call those people are living below the poverty line. So when you actually see what is the percentage of people who are actually remaining poor in India, you find there are a lot of people who are actually below poverty line. So why is it so? Increasing of poverty percentage is because people are unemployed. If the people get unemployment, if the people get employment, beg your pardon, if the people get employment, then the issue or the problem of unemployment automatically vanishes. And when the people find a job, then their standard of living automatically improves, and the people who used to be counted below poverty line will be counted above poverty line now after getting the job. But the main thing here is people are not skilled, people are not educated, people are not talented in some of the areas. But that has to be improved considerably if India has to come out of poverty. Let us see what is actually being given here in vicious circle of poverty. Poverty is not only distressing but also demoralizing. A poor man always finds himself having been caught in vicious circle of poverty. Since he lacks the mean to prosper, he remains poor. Now, when you see the diagram here, how it actually goes, the low income will come in the form of poverty. If you have low income, it means you're actually living in poverty. If you have low income, then there is no chance of savings at all. You might save a very little. Next, when there is no saving, there is no question of going for investment. And when there is no investment, you actually can't go for any starting of any industry or starting of any company where you can actually provide employment to most of the people of that area. Next, since there is no establishment of any organization or any manufacturing unit, there is no productivity at all. When there is no productivity, there is no question of generating national output within the nation. And there is no question of getting national income within the nation or GDP within the nation. Now, when all these things are not possible, then what it actually avoids, it also avoids the question of employment. When there is no productivity, when there is no company establishment, then the people who actually are in requirement of employment, they won't be able to find the job there. And as I said you previously, the root cause of poverty is employment. And if the people fail to get the employment here, then there is no question of improvement. There is no question of improving the standard of living of themselves. That's the issue here. Now, here are some of the ways how you can actually come out of this vicious circle of poverty. First one is proper use of natural resources. The resources which are available in nature should be used adequately. Next is self-reliance policy. Instead of depending on anybody else or any other nation or foreign country, we should find ways to make the products within the nation and decrease the imports what we are doing from other countries and start making the same thing within the nation. Point number 3, increase in savings. This percentage of savings within the nation should be increased. That is possible when you actually go for more amount of exports instead of going for more amount of imports. Imports should be reduced and exports should be increased, and savings should also be taken care of. Next, increase in exports, encouraging private sector. Private sector improvement or private sector development should be given prioritization. They should be given importance because when you actually live in a society where you consist of both the kind of people who are actually working in government sector or public sector and people who are actually working in private sector, that's the reason why India is considered as a mixed economy. There are several other reasons, but when you actually come to a concept of mixed economy, this can also be taken. Some people are actually employed in government sector and some people are actually employed in private sector. But private sector improvement should take place more considerably because government has other responsibilities too to focus on. But private sector, if they focus in providing employment opportunities to more and more people of the nation, then the problem of unemployment can be eradicated from the nation. The last point is reduction in imports. Dependence on foreign countries should be minimum. Hope the answer of hindrances to economic development is clear to you all. That's it in this class. Hope it is very clear to you all. We'll meet in the next video with yet another concept. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you very much.